which of course was then the tower moment, that everything just felt like it was caving in, but it wasn't. It was actually opening up. And that's, what I'd like to say to people. Sometimes you might feel like you're going down a path that you're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm in the darkness, but actually that was the thing that opened up my intuitive gifts.
Welcome to Conversation for the Soul. I'm Linda Christine. Today I had an amazing conversation with Michelle Taylor Ward. Michelle used to be a famous lingerie designer for a big company in the UK and then lost it all. And through that process of breaking down and coming back, she created this amazing modality of creating beautiful soul portraits. You're going to have to see it to believe it, but they are incredible. And this conversation has so many beautiful twists and turns. I just think you're going to love it. So please like, share, and subscribe. And we will go ahead and talk with Michelle. Hello, Michelle. I have been so excited for this conversation.
Hello, so lovely to be here. Thank you, Linda.
Oh, it's so lovely to see you. And, I don't know if we should do this now or later, but, I'd like to just share, and I know this is a disservice to the people that listen on audio, but I always like to do a quick share of what it is that Michelle does so people can have an idea.
Oh, thank you.
And this is my soul portrait, and this is the beautiful modality that Michelle works with. And I just had to share that because it puts everything in context. And for those of you listening that cannot see this, of course, I would say go watch it on YouTube, of course. But it is a beautiful illustration of this woman with a torch and dragons and alligators and a beautiful gold spear behind her head and fuchsia hair. And wow, it's just lovely. And I follow you on Facebook, and I just love all the portraits that you work on. There's not a single one that doesn't wow me.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Honestly, I am continually surprised when people say that. And I just can't get over it, really. The response to what's been going on this past year, it's just kind of skyrocketed. And working with yourself and other beautiful souls has just kind of helped me to heal and really evolve and grow, basically, over the past year. So it's been amazing.
Now, I'm really curious to hear the story. What led you to become this person that you are today and creating these beautiful soul portraits and whatever else you might be doing?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and it's funny, isn't it, what kind of path we go on to get to where we're kind of going. And I was thinking about what I was when I was younger and how that may have influenced. And I was actually saying to my husband, I used to actually read the Nostradamus almanac when I was like 8 or 9.
Wow.
And I just thought everybody else did that. It was on sale at my grandma's shop. So I used to go and buy it and read about the future and all these magical things. And then my dad used to listen to hypnosis tapes and things, and I used to kind of go into that world. So when I think about it, like many of us are, well, we're all quite different, aren't we? We always knew that we were a little bit different. And then my background basically is in design. Like I am a trained lingerie designer. That's what I used to do before I got into this work. Went to university, went through art college and everything. So I did always have the arty background and was spiritual. But I mean, I used to be a Sunday school teacher as well. But I've not really, it was one of those things that then when I went to university, that kind of took a bit of a back seat. And then I set up my own business, gained investment, which was fantastic. But I've got my little cat there, wanting to jump on. I actually got kicked out of the business by the investors, which of course was then the tower moment, that everything just felt like it was caving in, but it wasn't. It was actually opening up. And that's, what I'd like to say to people. Sometimes you might feel like you're going down a path that you're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm in the darkness, But actually, that was the thing that opened up my intuitive gifts. In 2016, I started to do readings and things like that. And then turned towards art, actually, when I was getting counselling for that. And I started to paint and draw then.
Wow.
So that's how it kind of started.
So how did it evolve into this?
Yeah, so I think what happened was somebody needed an angel. Somebody wanted something from me that would help them. Gosh, I haven't even thought about this, how actually it was a lady, I think, that was at end of life, and it was one of her relatives, and she was asking what could I kind of do to help. And I think I drew an angel. But then they started to evolve, and I started adding things in and this, that, and then I saw something else and wrote that on. And it evolved from angels to then into the soul paintings over time. So that's how it happened, where I was just getting more information, and I kept thinking, well, this isn't an angel, man. Because what one of the things started to happen was I would get the word echo, and the word echo comes in to my intuition, and then I get an idea of something else, and that's basically a past life. And that's what relates to the word echo. That's how I know that it's like a past life, because it's an echo of something through the soul. So that's what started to happen. So it's funny, isn't it? It's how these organic things kind of grow and, evolve. I've not really thought about how it started, so in a long drawn out way.
It's great that you listened to that, because I've kind of been doing the same thing. I have an artistic side to me that's more along the lines of photography, but now it's coming into painting. It's coming into some things with clay.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah,
it's great to
grounding it
listen
in.
to that,
Yeah.
So what did you think when, now you said your lingerie business or designing just went to hell.
Yeah. Oh,
What
I need a hand card.
what were you thinking then? What was going through your mind?
Oh my God, it was absolutely. I mean, I can only talk about it now, honestly, Linda. It's taken. I mean, what year are we in now? 2023, and that happened in 2016. So it's taken a lot of healing, even to be able to talk about it. And I was meditating on it earlier on, and I thought, well, actually, it was a breakdown of the ego that I had, because I'd built up my brand was I'm not even going to say the brand name actually, but it was a name, and I associated with that name. So I built up my whole persona around this name. So people didn't even call me Michelle, they called me the name of the brand. I launched in Paris. It was really glamorous, vintage, everything. And that's what my dream was. So I was like, oh my God, like my dream's been taken away. So I just went into like a dark hole, a cave, to the point where I actually couldn't even breathe properly. Like people were holding my hands through the day and couldn't breathe. It was really like visceral. And I know now that it was a break and open of the heart chakra. Like that's what I know in reflection, because I ended up in hospital basically, and they said that I needed to change something about my life, or I was going to either have a breakdown or a heart attack. And that's what was kind of hello. That's what had actually been said. So I actually felt like everything was caving in. It was definitely like a tower moment of darkness. But I actually got counselling from a company here in the UK called Mind. And I remember doing an artwork, and it was, that phrase where you say the thought seeds. They buried me, and I thought that they didn't realise I was a seed, and you kind of grow. And I actually did an artwork for the counsellor. And it was then when I thought, actually, maybe this is something that can help me, like painting and drawing. And it really does. Every day it heals and it helps me to stay connected to spirit. And yeah, but I was in a really dark space. And for me, because I'm really bubbly as well, I could not associate with that because I'd never really been depressed or anything. But in that time, I just couldn't see how I was going to get out. So I think the further I went in, the longer it's taken to come out, but the deeper the experience and the higher the growth has been. Because I just now all I want to do now is help people that are in that situation to find themselves, and if it's help them through the painting, then that's what I hope I can do.
So you started basically as art therapy, and it just kind of evolved into this.
Yeah. I've never really realised until you asked me that. So that was so good. Yeah, I guess I did really. And then even now, like I think it helps me every day. Because
So
I don't think about anything
I'm
else.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think about anything else when I'm painting. It's like you know what it's like, isn't it? You're just in the flow and you're just in the moment and nothing else matters and hours can go by and I don't even know.
I love that flow state. I love it. And it's you know what, I've found it to be a great problem solving place to be, because your brain goes to a different spot, and things that were maybe on your mind that you were trying to work through, all of a sudden it comes in and you can fix it.
Somewhere else, isn't it? Yeah. It's like you see something from a different angle, isn't it? And I think that's what I try to show in the paintings, if it be a bird and I actually sometimes zoom out and I can see myself like looking down. And or I do, things drop into me, like they drop into this side and then it kind of comes through that way. And I know for a fact that that's the thing that I need to include when it comes into I meant to say that to you, when it comes into the right hand side, drops in, and I'm like,
That's interesting, because it does for me too. On this side, things always come in this way.
Oh, I love that.
Wow.
That's even double confirmation.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So let's go back to your childhood. What were your parents thinking when you're bringing home books about Nostradamus?
Well, I think it was my grandma that I was often staying with. So my dad had the hypnosis tapes, but he's not particularly, even now, it doesn't really want to know, if I'm absolutely honest. Like, he'll never watch this, for instance. And I think he's just scared. He's a little bit scared of things like that because it's different and he doesn't know what it's about. But my grandma was like kind of really like interested, and she used to kind of back me in it. And my mom as well, she's the same, she's very like encouraging with it all as well. But again, not really, it wasn't really their kind of thing, really. I mean, my nana was the one that went to church, so she was very spiritual. She used to clean the brasses in the church, every week, keep the church all spotless and everything. But my family, yeah, I've got cousins that are very, very spiritual, quite witchy, and things like that. In fact, I've got a stone that my cousin gave me. Just popped it there to bring some ground. It's quartz from the beach in Scotland. So yeah.
So you have some people in the family that have abilities.
Yes, I think so. They've not developed them, but I've definitely got an auntie, 2 or 3 cousins' daughters, and we're all kind of, like kind of tapping in, and they're watching and encouraging everything from afar. So, and I do feel like I've got my ancestors, like I'm constantly connecting in with family, like who've gone, and I can kind of feel them coming in sometimes, like helping me. So that's lovely. But yeah, sometimes, I mean, when I was little, I used to draw a lot, like by myself, just go off in my own world and draw. So yeah, I think it was always there.
So you bring up the ancestors. Have you done any ancestral healing? Have you found anything come up that you realize is something in the lineage that needs to be taken care of?
I haven't actually done any healing. I've done kind of counselling that was kind of linked with it, bringing in the ancestors. And I'm lying, I have done like a womb clearing with a lady in the UK as well. And I felt like that was linked with, it's okay. Do you mind if I just open the door to let me go?
Oh, that's fine.
Sorry. She just needs to go into the kitchen. Go on. Here you go, darling. No, she doesn't. She's just pretending. Right, I'm really sorry.
That's okay. I have one that does that stuff to me all the time.
And then she's looking around me so she can obviously see energy. Oh, that's probably me, Nana. Right, we're back in the room.
Oh.
So we did like womb clearings and things like that, and then bringing in symbolism into that area, particular symbol that I'd actually drawn on the lady's painting who was helping me with the healing. And then I actually saw that symbol to bring out and I felt like that was linked with the female ancestors. And then she actually said to me, because I described the symbol, she went, Michelle, that's the symbol that you put on my painting. And I was like, because I do them, I channel them, and then it's not that I don't think about them, but I can't hold them all in. I've been looking at yours again today, and I've done your reading today. You saw a message. Very beautiful.
Oh, wonderful. So as you're doing the paintings, what do you get connections with certain beings? What are some of the most interesting ones that have come through?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I naturally I'm attracted to the angelic, so that's where it kind of starts. And Archangel Gabriel really helps me to connect. So that's one that I definitely know. And even today, before I was doing this, I was like, Archangel Gabriel, help me to connect, because I do feel like his energy really helps me to channel in with the others. And also Archangel Metatron helps as a bridge to some of them. I would say one actually came through for you today as well. The Ascended Master Saint Germain. I actually feel like a real connection to him and his energy, and also linking in with like Merlin and the Violet Rain, that kind of thing. That's something that filters in. And even the galactics were not something that initially, like when I started doing it, I didn't really know much about them. And sometimes I know that it's a galactic energy, but I don't necessarily know what it is. I'll just see the cosmos or stars or but yeah, there was more galactic energies coming through for you as well today. So
you do pull in light language on your artwork. You have some on the arm of my person.
Yeah, exactly. And the light language is funny when that comes because it's dead fast. I hope you can understand me all right. But yeah, I just write it like really, really fast. I draw it really fast. Egyptian essences seem to come in as well. It's just so varied. It's so varied. The first thing I do is ask for the animal. I'm like, which animal wants to come? And at first I didn't used to trust it. And I was like, no, it's not a jellyfish. And I was like, I'm not going to do a jellyfish. And I'd sit and go, I'm not. And then it's like, it's definitely a jellyfish. So then I'm thinking, I've never drawn a jellyfish. So a lot of the time I've drawn things I've never, ever, like a hedgehog, jellyfish, octopus I did on one lady's head. And she was quite, she's an octopus on my head. And I was like, I know, but that's the energy that came. And I noticed that there's sometimes a resistance with ones that I bring, but I know that there's a message there. It's something that the person maybe hasn't wanted to hear, or they felt like they were uncomfortable, but then it's something that's really going to help like propel them to learn that message kind of thing, which I'd forgotten about. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't have been surprised an alligator came in, being that I live in Florida, but they're also, to me, like the modern day dragon.
Yes, that's exactly what I felt like. And of course, you had the ancient sea dragon, I think I was saying, was behind. So I felt like the dragon energy was coming through the alligator or crocodile, coming through that energy. And I feel like that maybe some of the ancient energies come through the animals that we've got here, and they find a way like in. I was kind of getting the view that the dragon energy looks for the right vessel to kind of channel into, and you were kind of one of them, which is amazing. And I think there's more and more dragon energies that have come through recently than were before.
Oh yeah, they're ramping out big time because it's like it wasn't even in my field at all. It was like,
Was it not?
yeah, not
No.
into dragons, not my thing.
Yes.
But then it's like, sorry, you're gonna be now. And
Yes.
then it's like now that I actually birthed dragons, it's like can't be anything but dragon mama.
I love it. And I can feel that energy now. It's such like a strong, it's like a strong confidence, isn't it? But I felt like today with you when I was doing your reading, it's because you're so grounded as well. And they need somebody that's so grounded, because I feel like if somebody wasn't grounded, it could be like wee and go off too much. But I think because you're so grounded and like there's this lovely confidence, they're the kind of people that they pick. That's what I was given today. So
That's so beautiful. So people know you do these beautiful portraits. You have two types of readings. You have a smaller portrait that you create, and then you have a larger one which comes with the reading, which is what you're
yes,
talking about now.
that's right. Yeah, the soul message reading, because I didn't actually mention that. I did start off doing the small. They're not really small, I guess. They're A3. And then people started to ask. I guess the energy was expanding. And I think I've probably done about 20, maybe of the large one now. And what's so good about the larger portraits are that I can bring in much more colour and, more light frequencies and light codes and activations for the larger one. And I do say that then people have got the package that they can then use as branding and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
this is what
oh, you got it on your phone.
because it's just every time I connect with it, something else comes in, and it's almost like a talisman for me.
Amazing. That's so good. That's what I wanted it to be. Yeah. Oh, that's what spirit wanted it to be. And you will actually, I am sending separately. So the soul message I channel, and then I do it as an audio and send it to a lady who types it up, because there's certain skills that I've got, and there's other skills that I haven't got with typing and things. So she does that for me, and we'll print it and send it to you. But you'll also get a key with it as well. And then the key, I was going to say to people to use as a talisman. That's the word that I was going to say. So that it's imbued with the energy of the painting and your soul. And if you want, you could frame it next to the painting, or you can carry it around. Because we all need the confidence sometimes, don't we? If we're having a bad day, or if you've got a hospital appointment, or you've got something, and to take your little key with the energy of the soul, and I think it'll just hold it on your heart space and help to bring that energy in. It's about empowering people, and I want them to see how beautiful their own soul is, and just go, yeah, I've got this sovereignty. I can stand in my power. And because I feel like that's what I've done in the last year, and up until then I hadn't. And I want that for other people, and spirit wants that for other people, and the angels want that for people as well. I feel like that was really coming through. I'm getting quite emotional now.
What got you to step into your power? What was the catalyst for that?
I honestly think it was seeing the reaction, actually, to seeing other people's reaction to the artwork. To be honest, Linda, I think it was that. And when I realised it wasn't just the UK, and it wasn't just, it was all over the world. And when people started to ask me, because I've struggled with self-esteem for a long time, a long, long time. And I think it's one of my life lessons, to be honest. So it wasn't until I started to get that feedback. And in a way, it was retrospectively. So maybe 3 months after I'd started to do the portraits, the things that I was saying, the spirit were giving me, then people said were coming true after. So then I thought, hang on, this isn't just what I'm dreaming up in my creativity and imagination. It's actually happening. And the activations, people were kind of like, my throat cleared after you'd drawn the light language there. It's not me that's clearing the throat. It was probably going to happen anyway, but I've just done the light language to tell them to be aware that that's what's going to happen. And I didn't know that until the last however many months. So I do think, yeah, in answer to that question, that's what helped me to step into my power. And that's what I want more than anything in this life, for other people to feel that and just know that the essence of what their soul is here to do, and help them to find that.
Well, and it's so beautiful when you can step into that trust. And I was the same way when I started doing readings. I would go, this sounds really stupid. I'm not going to tell this person that. But then I would just get pushed to do it. And they would be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. And I'm like, okay.
Your readings are so good as well. Honestly, I love them. You just get little tidbits, and thank you honestly so much. The amount of times I'm like, oh, there she is, and I'll watch it, and it's so good, isn't it, that you're bringing that essence. And if we could all help each other in that way, it's just going to really help lift each other, isn't it?
Well, and I think the more we step into that, we are encouraging others to do the same.
That's hopefully it, isn't it? Because it is scary, isn't it, doing you? I mean, this for me, the first one you asked me, I was like, I'm not used to doing podcasts, but I know that there'll be somebody that'll listen and they might think, oh, and there'll be something that might just give them a little bit of confidence, and they'll think, oh, well, she used to be this, that, and the other, and she managed to do it, And you were so warm when you asked me, and every time I think of you, I just think, oh, it's like a warm hug.
You're so sweet. So let's talk about who you were before, because you are very spiritual, very put together, very connected to spirit.
Thank you.
But you weren't always that person. So let's talk about her.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm sure you had wild parties back in the day with the lingerie company and going to Paris, right?
Yeah. And in fact, I've not actually mentioned, I did. In between when so I did quite a lot of lingerie jobs, but I did actually work for Playboy. So I was connected to the US and New York a lot. So that built my confidence, because I had to do presentations. And I did do public speaking in that role and things like that. But then it all broke down when the tower moment came of losing the business. But I was very shy when I was younger, very didn't really have my own opinion about things. And it took a long time to kind of build that. But I went to the Playboy Palms, in Las Vegas, the Playboy party launch. And I actually gate crashed, because I was just in the one section, and I gate crashed the VIP bit to meet Hugh Hefner. So I have had like to forget about, So it's funny, like the contrast of Sunday school teacher, lingerie designer, entrepreneur. But I do know now that I can never work for anyone else, because I'm so connected. I just have to follow my heart. So I'm very spiritual now. But I have always, been interested in chakras and things. I remember, going to my friend's hen party and getting everyone to lay down and literally doing a meditation. And I didn't really know what I was doing then, because I'd only read one book on chakras. Tuning into the chakras. So it's funny, isn't it, how it comes and goes. And in fact, even spirit had just guiding me to, I lived in Ireland for a while, and I needed to leave Ireland. I was in a different relationship, and something really spiritual then happened. I literally was sitting on the beach crying, and somebody came and sat next to me. And I still to this day don't even know if it was a real person, and chatted to him. And he just said something about tuning in and sitting with your own energy and trying to decide what's right for you and how you shouldn't do things for other people, do what's right for you. I've not thought about that for so long, but that was obviously an angel or a spirit
Feels
that
like
came.
it was Gabriel.
Do you think? Maybe it was. Yeah, again, he was on the right hand side on the beach. He sat next to me. Because I remember thinking there was literally nobody around. And then he was suddenly there. And it was that day that I decided I had to move from Ireland, like back to the UK, back to this hometown where I came back and met my now husband. And in fact, I've got to mention him actually, because I think he's brought such a stability into my life that I was always a bit of a nomad, like mooching around. I was never really very settled. I was always kind of moving from town to town, this, that, and the other, job to job, following like a relationship to where they wanted to go rather than where I wanted to go. But with Ian, he's helped me to be settled in my own skin and feel safe, I think, to explore this. I
Now,
think
when
you
did
need.
he come into the picture? Was it before or after the lingerie business?
Yeah, so he came in before, well, I'd already launched the business in Paris in 2008. So I'd grown it for quite a while. And then I got investment actually when I was with him. So he was with me like through that, hand holding. And he was just kind of like, you've got to kind of go for it type of thing. And then he was there when it all obviously filtered down. So it's been crazy because I was told that I probably couldn't have children and things as well. There was like a 0.2% chance of having them. And then I manifested Marshall. Like, again, that was through spirituality, meditation. I had a mentor who just said, I see a little boy there, just keep busy doing what you do and do your readings, do whatever you can do. And then I did that. And I actually found the other day, I'd done a manifestation ritual in 2016 and I'd written, I manifest this baby boy, and I'd written it something like 500 times. I literally found it yesterday. Like yesterday when I was cleaning the
Wow.
box. And I sent it to my mum and I went, look, I actually wrote this down, and then he came. He didn't come until 2018, but yeah, that's when Marshall came along, a little boy. So it's funny, isn't it, how things work out?
Well, you clearly did the right thing, because you did it and then you released it and forgot about it and let the universe do its job.
And this is what I often do. Like I am a monkey. Well, I don't know if I'm a monkey for it, but it's just I guess you can't hold things. I think I used to hold everything in boxes, and now I know that since I had whatever that was, whether it would be a breakdown, all the boxes opened then, and everything came out. The shadows, the ghouls, everything that I'd been trying to hold in came out. And I think now I know that I can't hold things anymore because that's what I used to do. I'd put them all in boxes. Yeah, so that's funny, isn't it? It's so good because it's helping me reflect, and I've not thought about a lot of these things for a long time.
Well, and it's so beautiful to not be attached.
Yes,
That's a huge gift.
the attachment. It's so true, isn't it? And it's that surrender of what is and just thinking I'm in the flow. And I think that's why today I didn't feel nervous at all, like, because I know that it's my path. I know, and I knew as soon as we connected, like we had this connection, and I was like, I'm just trusting in spirit, and hopefully there'll be more like opportunities like this where, but you've got to feel, I think, safe. And I think that's why I agreed to do it, because you provide that safety with the dragons and your lovely energy.
You. I appreciate that. I truly believe that these stories are great teachers. There's always
Yeah,
a nugget of wisdom for everybody to learn something.
yeah, definitely. I think so. There must be something, there's something there, isn't there, that's needing to be opened up
Yeah,
and
because I
shown.
didn't ask for this. It was like, you're going to do this. And I'm like, I don't think so. Yeah, you're going to do this. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. But when it's not fun anymore, I'm not going to do it anymore. So
Exactly. And you still love it. Yeah.
I do, because I meet beautiful people like you and learn so much.
Oh my God. It's obviously what you're meant to do. And it may be that Gabriel works with you and that I was wondering who would kind of because are you connected to angelics? I did put a
Oh,
couple of
yeah,
angels
yeah. I'm gonna show
on.
you that picture is of three angels back there. I used to do
Oh,
angel art, and I
oh,
actually have a statue of Gabriel that's been with me for probably 25 years now. That's in
oh
the
my
other room.
God, really? So
Yeah,
yeah, total
yeah,
Gabriel.
he's my
Yeah,
guy.
that's mad, isn't it? Because it is
Yeah.
only literally the last year that I've been asking him to help me, really.
Well, there's a
Before
lot of
then,
parallels between you and me, and I don't want to
yeah,
get too personal here and have too much girl talk here. I want it to be a little more broad based, but we'll have to follow up on
yeah, we
that.
will. Yeah, we will. Oh, we'll definitely chat again.
Yeah.
Won't we? Again and again. But
So
I'll meet you
let's
once.
talk about this beautiful baby that you manifested, because I know a lot of people are probably trying to do that right now too. So you wrote out 500 times.
Yeah, and it wasn't from me, and I can't think of the lady, but I will have to try and remember who the lady was because I did actually do an abundance manifestation exercise, and it was through her. So I'll let you know who that was, and maybe we could write it underneath or something so people.
Yeah.
Because I want to credit her because it was her. And yeah, I wrote this down. Now I did also write down £100,000 to manifest, which hasn't come true yet. That was on there as well. But yeah, he has come. He's come in, and apparently he is very spiritual as well. And he's very gifted and connected. I've been told. I think he's like a rainbow child. He's very sensitive and he's so loving, and he loves rainbows. If we see rainbows, he's kind of and even then, just before I said night to him, he's gone upstairs into the bath and he's with his dad. I said, "Oh, what have you got to say?" He said, "I'm sending you 1,000 love hearts, Mammy, 1,000 love hearts." And he's just, and you can feel it, like the love comes. So he's very, very peaceful and very connected and sensitive, and he picks up on my energy and things as well, like as they do, don't they?
These
But yeah,
babies that are coming in now are so powerful.
think they, and I'd heard this somewhere else before as well, like they are our teachers as well. And I'm guided by him sometimes. Like I'll ask him things and I'll be like, "What do you think about this?" And I'll listen and I'll think, yeah, I'll take on board what he says. And he's literally only 5. Because I think in some way there's something. But I mean, every night, like he wakes up every night and he comes into my bed. And I think, do you know what? So be it. That's absolutely fine because there's that energy there. Like, and I don't know what's visiting him. I do protect his energy. Like every night, I ask Archangel Michael to protect him, and I put a kind of bubble of silver energy around him because I think, well, that's meant to kind of deflect things, isn't it? So, but yeah, he's so lovely. I mean, there was a little spirit that was. I've had like one miscarriage before him. Um, and I do feel like that was a little girl, but I feel like we obviously weren't ready at that point for, because they do, don't they? They pick the parents, and my nephew just said to me the other day, he was saying different things about us because I was just talking about potentially like in the future, maybe fostering or something like that. It was just like an open thing. And he was just kind of saying about how our house is very like calm and fun and how we don't, if someone spills something, it's just like, oh, it's spilled, it's absolutely fine. That's there is that kind of not holding on to anything. It's just a flow and just trying to let things pass through and what's meant to be, it was meant to be kind of thing. But I would definitely say that the lady, Sheila, who was my mentor, it would say, keep busy, keep busy. I could see a boy. I think because she said that, I said, yeah, she can see a boy. So she believed in it. And then I attached to it. And our hometown, it's a funny story. Our hometown football club was in financial difficulty at the time, and people were raising money. So I designed a T-shirt based on the history of the club, and I was selling this T-shirt. All profits were going to the football club. So that's how I kept busy. People were coming, I was giving them the T-shirts, chatting away, and I actually found out that I was pregnant, like as I was doing this big project on selling the T-shirt. But that was good because it was energy in, energy out, energy in, energy out. And I was giving, I was not thinking about me. I was thinking about the bigger picture. And basically, like my dad and my whole family are football fanatics. So it was to kind of help them as well and help the town. So I would say, even thinking about how you can help your community and maybe, that energy is the flow of the abundance because you're given your time, aren't you? You're given something else. And then the energy came in of the pregnancy as I was doing that. Naturally, even though we were saving for IVF. It's crazy, isn't it? Like, I didn't even think that could happen.
Wow. That's a great story. Great story. Well, your little girl might come back around.
Yeah. I'm now 48, so I think I might be a bit. But you never know. She could come in a different form, couldn't she?
You're a very healthy 48.
Yeah. I don't feel 48.
You don't look it. I would have guessed 38 if I had to guess.
Oh, I knew I loved you, Linda. I love you.
So about your channeling, are you able to connect now?
I could try. This is the thing. Let's see if I can. I don't know whether I'm too excitable and everything, but we can see.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's see. So do you want to ask me something or should we just see what comes through?
Let's see what comes through. Let's let spirit decide what we might need to hear.
Yeah. Let's see what we get if anything comes. This is why I sometimes, when I've done my readings in the past, I kind of do them on WhatsApp because I always feel I've never really done it this way, but so this is quite a nice experiment to see what happens. I feel if we're asking Archangel Gabriel, which is who I'd like to ask, can we just ask Archangel Gabriel if he's got anything he'd like to bring through for the people listening now or in the future? So we're just hearing about trust and faith, and that you are exactly where you're meant to be. So you're exactly where you're meant to be, Linda, and everybody that's listening is currently where they're meant to be. And even if you might have a setback, feet are tingling now. Even if you might have a setback, it's actually not a setback. It's steering you in the right direction. And they're showing me a wave, like a big tidal wave, like coming up and back down again, and how sometimes if we're getting carried on the water, we might feel as though that's really hard going, you're getting smashed across the rocks. Oh, they're showing me now. It's some kind of like a sea snail or something that would be in the waves that would be getting smashed against the rocks, and it's kind of like that's really hard. That's really hard going, but it's helping you to move into where you need to be. And then I'm seeing this tiny little sea snail floating to the bottom of wherever it's supposed to be and settling into its new environment. So I guess this is about people that are moving into new transitions and trusting in where the waves are taking you. I am getting that a lot, water references of water recently, and whether that's coming from ancient Lemuria or but it's about trusting the process, and wherever you're placed next, is the right place for you and for your soul. And also not to be afraid to pivot and change if you feel as though you need to do that as well, is the other thing. Because I think sometimes we might be on a certain path. And for me, I thought my life as a designer was, that was set out. And I thought that's what I was going to be for the rest of my life. And when that suddenly changed, I was like, oh, well, what do you want me to do now? Yet now this is just perfect. It's just perfect. And even, this is perfect. So it's finding that perfection in the moment and in the uncomfortable times as well. And remembering to breathe through that. And you can get through anything if you breathe through it and slow. That's the other thing that the angels often say to me, and I see it in other people when they're not slowing down. We need to slow down because spirit needs to catch up with us, and if we're too fast, because I used to speak, and I'm doing now, but I used to speak so quickly, and that's how things have changed. My life has slowed down so much so that spirit could catch up and say to me, this is where we want you to go. And that's the other thing as well that they're saying, please slow down, D1s. You don't need to, there's no rush, everything's going to come to you at exactly the right time. You don't need to rush. So that little sea snail thing, I need to get, it's like the turtle, isn't it? They show me now the turtle and how, so the turtle sometimes would drive on a whale's back to get where it needs to go, but it actually gets there. It does get there. It doesn't, can travel miles and it eventually gets there. So I think that's a spirit animal, isn't it, of the turtle coming through and speed and slowing down. And in that slowness, we learn what we need to learn for the next stage.
Well, and you create space to hear spirit.
Yes. Yeah. Which I felt then, actually. It was kind of like, the sea suddenly opens and, you can hear them then. So, I've not really done that before live on camera, so thank you.
That was very good. That was really super good. What would spirit say to somebody that perhaps is having a hard time trusting because they're new to this? I mean, you and I have gone through a lot to get us to where we are now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of people need to go through a lot to get to where they're going. But what advice could spirit give to get to that point of trust?
Yeah. And this is, sometimes it's difficult to hear as well, isn't it? But it's that feeling of like trusting in the journey, and also they're saying to me, trusting in the darkness, isn't it? It's trusting in the darkness, because sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, so dark, and you're looking and you're thinking, well, what is there? But actually there is comfort in that darkness in time. It does come, and it is hard, and I can completely empathize, and it's like yourself, like gone through that, and now we can empathize and we can compassionately really understand where that person is. So I would really say to people as well, and spirit would say, about trusting in nature during those times as well, isn't it? It's coming back. They show me the trees, they show me tree trunks, how the fungus like creeps through the dirt. They find the light. They show me how the seed pushes through, and really the seed is kind of like, well, how it's just finding that little bit of warmth, that light. Even with throat chakra now, so obviously something's meant to be trying to come through. Yeah, so I would say that. I would say, like, trust in nature, and also what I've been seeing in my paintings as well is the heart chakra being a portal. So I know when people are anxious and stressed and the heart is tense and it's tight. Another thing that I would definitely say, just as a reference, that's really helped me is tapping. You know, when you're doing the tapping techniques, because something that's been coming through recently by spirit is the electrical charge in our body and how that can be off. And especially if you're in that darkness, you kind of like get cut off, don't you? You cut off, you think you're cut off from spirit, but you never are, because the angels are always there. And I feel like there's something linked with electrical current and tapping. That if I'd known, I feel like I would have practiced more tapping in those darker times. But I've only recently discovered that. But again, that might be something that people resonate with or not. But yeah.
It feels like it brings you back into awareness. You're like,
yeah.
okay, I'm here. I'm in the body, focus on that, get grounded,
yeah,
kind of thing.
The body. Yeah. And for me, it was, the thymus was obviously something was kicking off, because it was really painful in my chest. And again, the cracking open of the heart. So even now, like on a morning, I do like something of the thymus, and it just kind of activates again. So yeah, so hopefully that's helped people a little bit there who might be feeling that way.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. And hindsight is so perfect, because I wouldn't give up what got me to where I am now.
No, exactly. And it's so hard, isn't it, at the time? It's so hard. And you actually feel like you're a completely different person. And one day you can be one person, the next minute. And then it's scary because some of your friends are different, and then sometimes you move away from your friends. Like I keep seeing that little sea snail who has moved away from where he was. But then the friends actually come back. The ones that are meant to come back into the tide, and they settle back with you. And then things calm down. So I would also say that to people. Like, don't be afraid that you feel like everything, all the people that you used to get on with, you're not. It doesn't matter in a way, because the new people come, and then the other ones do come back, the ones that are meant to come back. And I feel like I'm not on the other side of everything. I did have, I think it was a dream. They just showed me again a dream that I had where I was helping people on a water raft to climb on. And that's what they've just shown me again there, that you will get onto that raft. You might be in the choppy waters, but you will, and there will be somebody that helps pull you up. And, spirit will help pull you. There might be just a person that you chat to, or someone that you listen to. I listen to podcasts every single day, like inspirational people, and it does help, doesn't it?
You are a beautiful conscious channel, Michelle.
Oh, thank you.
Look at you. You have a new skill set, a new offering for people.
That was my little inner child then came up as Michelle, little shy Michelle going, thank you. But I will accept that. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are welcome so much.
Oh,
is there anything that you have? I know your soul portraits are booked months in advance. Is there anything new on the horizon that you want to share with people before we go?
Oh, yeah, and it's just been so beautiful. I'm absolutely loving this space. It's gorgeous. I am working on an academy, which I'm really excited about. And I have actually been working on it for about 2 years, but I am wishing to bring it to fruition this autumn, winter. And I have actually got a lady that's helping me with the administration side of it all and the software, because that's what I was a little bit struggling on. But now I've got somebody that's helping me with that. And so I will be bringing through channeled messages on that as well. And my aim with that, again, is to uplift and empower people. So a lot of the messages that I've received in the paintings are universal. So I will be sharing with, with people's yeah, I want people to be on board with it, but I will be sharing like general information I've received through the portraits on the Academy. So
Mm.
I'm really looking forward to that. So this to speak to you has really helped me actually with that. So thank you for that, sister. I love that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this sounds wonderful, Michelle, and I so appreciate you being here today. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you for asking me. I've absolutely loved it.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining. We'll talk to you
Thank
next
you so
time.
much. Love the love.
Bye.
Bye. Bye bye.